The Vorn ships arrived silently, their massive hulls absorbing radar and light alike. Earth's defense systems never detected them until they were already in the atmosphere. Their arrival was marked not by explosions or ultimatums, but by silence as communications worldwide experienced unexplained outages. Commander Kell stood on the bridge of the flagship, his scaled skin shimmering under the artificial lights. A small smile played across his reptilian features as he surveyed the blue planet below. "Begin the extraction," he ordered. "Remember, only the females. Our species requires their genetic material to survive." The Vorn had studied Earth for decades. Their own females had become sterile generations ago due to a devastating plague, and their scientists had determined that human women possessed compatible reproductive systems that could be modified to save their species. It was a simple calculation, the survival of billions of Vorn against the displacement of a few million humans. What they failed to calculate was human tenacity. Lisa worked the night shift at the rural hospital. She was checking inventory when the lights flickered. The radio cut out mid-song, replaced by static. Then she heard it, a low, pulsing hum that made her teeth ache. Through the window, she saw a dark, triangular shape descending from the clouds, blocking out the stars. She reached for her phone to call someone, anyone, but the line was dead. The rational part of her brain said to hide, but something deeper, more primal, told her to run. Lisa grabbed her keys and sprinted to her car. As she peeled out of the parking lot, she glimpsed pale, elongated figures emerging from the craft, their movements precise and predatory. Similar scenes unfolded across the globe. In Moscow, Anna fled her apartment with nothing but her father's old service pistol. In Lagos, Temi barricaded herself with other women in an underground parking garage. In Sydney, Beth commandeered a fishing boat and headed out to sea. The Vorn were methodical, using advanced technology to track and capture women. Their drones could detect female pheromones from kilometers away. Their stun weapons left no lasting damage. The Vorn needed their genetic material intact. What the aliens didn't expect was the human response. Tom wasn't a soldier. He was a high school chemistry teacher who enjoyed weekend fishing trips. But when he saw the alien craft hovering above his neighborhood and watched in horror as his wife was dragged away, something inside him changed. He gathered neighbors, friends, anyone who would listen. "They're taking our women," he told the growing crowd in his garage. "But they don't know who they're dealing with." With household chemicals and determined ingenuity, they crafted improvised explosives. With hunting rifles and kitchen knives, they armed themselves. What they lacked in technology, they made up for in numbers and fury. Similar resistance formed worldwide, not organized armies, but desperate civilians fighting with whatever they had. Farmers in Nebraska used combines to ram alien vessels. Taxi drivers in Bangkok turned their vehicles into flaming projectiles. Engineers in Berlin repurposed industrial equipment to emit frequencies that disrupted alien communications. The Vorn were unprepared for this level of resistance. Their intelligence suggested humans were fractious and disorganized, unlikely to mount a significant defense without their military infrastructure, which the Vorn had strategically disabled. They never understood that humans were at their most dangerous when cornered. While extracting human women from a small town, a Vorn squad encountered unexpected resistance. Their intelligence indicated minimal threat, yet they found themselves ambushed by locals using primitive but effective tactics. Their commander, Dex, was captured. Lisa, having returned with a makeshift militia, stood before the alien commander. "Why are you taking women only?" she demanded. Dex, believing in the superiority of his species, explained their dire need for genetic material from human females to save their dying race. "You could have asked," Lisa said, her voice steady despite her fear. "We might have helped willingly." The concept seemed absurd to Dex. The Vorn took what they needed. Negotiation with lesser species was unnecessary. As resistance spread globally, the Vorn began suffering significant losses. Their technology was superior, but they were outnumbered. For every human they captured, they lost 3 soldiers. Their ships, designed for stealth rather than defense, proved vulnerable to even the most basic explosive devices when attacked in sufficient numbers. Commander Kell, monitoring the rapidly deteriorating situation from orbit, realized their miscalculation. They had assessed human military capability but ignored human will. The determination to protect their own was a force their calculations had failed to quantify. "Recall all ground forces," he ordered. "We must reassess." But it was too late. Humans had discovered the Vorn's vulnerability to certain sound frequencies thanks to the captured commander's involuntary reaction to a radio playing during his interrogation. Within hours, the Resistance had weaponized this knowledge, broadcasting debilitating sonic pulses from every available speaker. Vorn soldiers collapsed in the streets, their nervous systems overwhelmed. Their ships, suddenly uncontrolled, crashed or drifted aimlessly. Within 3 days, the invasion was over. The surviving Vorn retreated, leaving behind technology that would advance human science by centuries. In the aftermath, as governments reformed and communication was restored, Lisa addressed the United Nations, standing beside the still captive Dex. "They came as invaders," she said, "but they've become our opportunity. They needed our help but chose force over diplomacy. Their mistake wasn't underestimating our weapons. It was underestimating our unity when threatened." She gestured to Dex. "They need genetic assistance to survive. We now propose offering it willingly in exchange for technological knowledge and peaceful cooperation." The Vorn commander looked confused. After all the destruction his people had caused, humans were offering help? He would never fully understand that this was also human might, the capacity for compassion even toward those who had shown none, the ability to turn enemies into allies, the strength not just to survive, but to forge a better future from the ruins of conflict. That was humanity's true power, and it was mightier than any weapon the Vorn had ever faced.